I'm Doug.
And I'm Cathy.
And this is Maggie Mae. Join us as we follow the moon. Today is going to be a tale of three cities. We're going to show you what remains of Silver Reef, of Harrisburg, and the town between them, Leeds, Utah. So come along today and enjoy.
Thanks.
And just as we said, this is a tale of three towns, and two of them are ghost towns with just remains, and one is still a thriving small town. The first one we're going to is Harrisburg. And Harrisburg has just a couple of remaining buildings. This was the first of these three towns to be established. And this was in the area where farming, agriculture was all kind of their main thing. That is really a neat structure. It's got a basement built into it.
Yeah, it was kind of like a root cellar or something.
Just down the road from that is a KOA. They also have one of the remaining ruins on their property. And if you go across the street, which has two small 11-foot 9-inch narrow tunnels that go underneath I-15, then you'll come to an area of BLM land. And this is Red Cliffs. And this area has, just as you go into it, some ruins along the road. And if you look from those ruins back over in the distance, you'll see a small house. And that was the home of the Adams family. And that home has been restored by the U.S. government. And it's the only complete dwelling left of that town. Has two sets of walls, an inside wall and an outside wall, and they said they filled the area in between the walls with rubbish for insulation.
Insulation, yeah.
And those walls are really, really thick.
It's a really small place, so the inside's got to be much smaller.
Much smaller, yeah. Now next is the town of Leeds. And Leeds is just maybe 2 miles up the road, and Leeds is still active today. That building right there, the town hall, used to be located at Silver Reef. We'll show you more about Silver Reef in a little bit, but keep that building in mind. There was also a large civilian conservation corps project in this town. There was a large encampment there for them. There's only 4 buildings left standing, and they are these 4. Now that little one down front is the infirmary. Over to its left is the dispensary, and you can see the steps going up beside it. So we went up to the top. This building is the officers' headquarters. From behind that, you've got a beautiful view of the area because you're up on top of the hill. And when you go down the hill, you'll come to that fourth building there, and that was their blacksmith building. It's got the larger door there on the side. Those are the only 4 buildings that are still left from the CCC project. There are some great historic homes. This was originally a Mormon settlement, became very prosperous as far as agriculture, but wasn't a real big money maker to support the town when it first started. That was their tithing office. But when that town really started to prosper was when they found silver in them thar hills, just about 3 miles away in Silver Reef. Now, Silver Reef is just totally a ghost town today, but they've got a great museum. They were famous for their mile-long main street. This was a booming silver town that really only lasted about 3 or 4 years until the silver standard went away and silver became nearly worthless. That was the Wells Fargo steps to get down off of the stagecoach. And when you go inside that Wells Fargo building, they've got a great museum in there. This is the original vault where they kept the silver bars. One of their big safes, one of the stagecoach boxes, and one of the train safe boxes.
Now, they just started that museum a few years back, and everything in there has been donated to them.
Yep. Yeah, it's this little town, when it disbanded after only being built for about 3 years and was built to really high standards, was basically come and get it.
Yeah.
And they parted out the buildings. People took parts of them and used them for their properties or to build other homes elsewhere. And these are where the Main Street businesses were. They had big elaborate archways in the front of them. That was their jail building, 11 foot by 11 foot, without good ventilation. It was really a deterrent. Plus, it was right behind the saloon,
Yeah.
which is where a lot of its new inhabitants came from.
And we see that as a common thing.
That's right. Those farmers in Leeds started selling all their produce and everything here, and that's what really made Leeds thrive. Was they were living off the monies being made 3 or 4 miles away. That's a picture of what the old saloon looked like. There's a little bit of foundation left there, but that's about it. And those horns were from that Elkhorn saloon.
Yeah, they were.
They're on the front of it. This is one of only 2 places that silver was found in soft sandstone instead of granite. The other one, I think you said, was Siberia?
Yes, the other one's Siberia.
Now, this was Chinatown, and they had several hundred Chinese immigrants that lived there that worked in the mining. This was Rice Bank, their main bank, and it was actually just right across the road from Wells Fargo, so that was handy.
Yeah.
And if you look out the back, they have a memorial marker here for St. John's Catholic Church. And this area here is where it was located. It was actually moved into Leeds and is no longer in existence. Their little powder house has had windows cut in it. It didn't originally have those. But inside it now is a diorama of the town.
That's really neat, too.
Really, really nicely done. The town was all laid out in a grid, which was very uncommon in this day and age. There was the Catholic Church, and these are the silver mills that were found around town. There were 5 different silver mills. Because the Chinese were working, they are more into working with black powder than they are with TNT, so this was all done with black powder. It's about as dangerous as you can get. Now this home here, this was one of the silver mills foreman's home. And you can tell it was pretty good size, the amount of space where the foundation ruins were left. There's still some of the concrete slab there. The Emily Stewart home, there's a few scattered foundational stones, and that's about it. And this was an area that was just full of smaller homes. Several doctors lived in the area, so they were nicer homes. Now this tailings pile was actually some radioactive uranium was left in there. The Barbie Walker Mine and Mill, this is their overlook. Most of the mining and milling were actually in ruins that you see across the canyon. But the equipment that you see here actually came from the 1950s when they were started mining uranium here. And that was a short-lived project. It didn't end up to be as plentiful and as profitable as what had been hoped. But it's really interesting to see these ruins just sitting there, and they're actually fairly nicely preserved.
It really strikes me the harshness of what these people had to live through, thinking about these were the people who came before us, and the foundations they laid to our society as we are now.
Absolutely. Now as we go on, this is the area where there was a settling pond, which is where the water from the milling process went into this pond and was actually recycled over and over, because there's not a lot of excess water out here in this part of the state. Now this area, that stone wall was around the schoolyard, and that schoolhouse, that's the original school bell, and that schoolhouse is now the town hall that we showed you in Leeds. It was moved over there. This is where Johnson's drugstore was. And this was the Silver Reef Miner printing office. That was their newspaper. Kathy, what did you think about our time in Silver Reef, Harrisburg, and Leeds, Utah?
This has been pretty cool. It's really neat to go see what's out there in the past.
And again, a tale of 3 cities. 2 of them are ghost towns now, but one is still thriving, and all for different reasons.
That's right.
So if you've enjoyed the video today, leave us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, watch for the dot up in this corner. You can tap that, ring the notification bell, and you'll know when every one of our videos come out.
And thank you for following us as we follow the news.